Hey, everybody, it's Teepa, and I'm going to call this morning's episode Behind the Scenes. Like, what happens behind the scenes? This week I've had a couple of situations where um, somebody was talking about getting somebody ready to go to the doctors. And like, it takes like 2 hours and it's so stressful. And it's like, yeah. Um, so what's making it super stressful? Help me out. Well, we have to get him dressed and bathed, and I'm trying to get him, and then he has to go back, and he's wanting to do this, and then we have, and it's like, whoa, okay, deep breath, because here's what I agree with: super stressful. Here's my real question: where is he going, and where are you going? Oh, to the doctors. Yeah. And the value of going to the doctors is the why are you going this time? Well, it's his biannual sort of checking in. Okay. And the last time you went, you were sort of surprised to hear the doctor say that he's MCI, mild cognitive impairment, because it seemed to you that he had progressed, and it seemed to you that he was having more trouble, and it was really feeling like it was. I mean, what does dementia look like if this is MCI? You were really feeling a lot like, wow, I'm really surprised it's MCI. Is that not true? And it was like, well, yeah. So then we talked a little bit about, so what did the doctor do? Well, he did the mini mental state exam. What's the day? What's the day? What's the day of the week? What's the month? And he missed some things, but he did really pretty good. Because I mean, actually on the way there, he had talked about some of the things that they were going to ask him and asked me a couple questions. And so I sort of remembered the test too from last time. So, when he said he was doing okay, and I said, well, it's not horrible. I mean, it's definitely, I'm really curious. What do you think about his driving? Well, that's one something we can look at next time we come in. It's like, okay. I said, how satisfying was that visit? Well, it felt like not, because I don't really know that he should be driving. I mean, it just feels like, I mean, we've had nothing horrible has happened, but there have been some sort of like, I was glad I was in the car so I could sort of cue him up. And I mean, he does go out just to the grocery store and just like to a couple things. So it's not much. So I don't know, it could be fine. Another deep breath. So I hear you saying that you're going to spend a lot of time getting him ready to go to this doctor's appointment. It's going to be a lot of work. It was a lot of work, and it was really stressful. So here's my question. The doctor's job is to help figure out how things are going. And it doesn't sound like that at this point, anyway, he's actually seeing both of you, seeing each of you to sort of put the puzzle pieces together with the triad and going, okay, so this is what I'm seeing and hearing from each of you and from both of you. Sounds like he's doing an assessment of the person based on how he looks, how he sounds, what he says, and then sort of what you say when he's there. And also how he does on a written piece of thing that he's done before. So here's what I'm going to say: behind the scenes, you have some options. Perhaps rather than working so hard to present this human being as a absolutely intact person, you could just say, well, we're going to the doctor. Are you ready to go? And he might say, well, yeah, I mean, I'm fine. And he has on clothes he's had on a couple days and he hasn't really done anything. Then say, okay, well, let's go. Rather than spending energy, hours, distress, trying to make it appear that everything's okay because that's what we're supposed to do. And then when we're noticing that we're practicing a little bit on the way in, and he knows sort of what's going to happen, it might be worth mentioning, perhaps, nurse, can I have just a couple minutes of your time? I'd like to share some things with you. and share, on the way in, he was rehearsing and practicing. He's brought up that he knows he's going to get the test again. I'm wondering if there's a variation of the test where it wasn't exactly the same as what we did last time, to find out, because it feels to me like there have been some shifts and changes in language, in memory, in judgment, in thinking. And I'd also appreciate if the physician would do a referral for a driving evaluation. And I don't want to be identified as the one that's doing that. I would prefer it come from the physician, because there have been a couple of things lately that make me worry, and I would prefer that that be identified. So, what I'm actually saying is behind the scenes, we can work really hard to preserve something that, yes, if the person was going to give a presentation and we want them to absolutely shine for the presentation and they care about that, then working with them to make that happen makes sense. But when we're going to someone whose job it is to help us figure out where we are, what's happening, what's changing, and we work super hard to sort of collaborate in hiding things a little bit, and we don't mean to, we're just trying to do a good job of being a care partner, maybe it's time to pause and really think what's happening behind the scenes for our partner, what's happening for us, and what's happening at the doctor's office. If we're really looking for more support and more help there, we might have to do a bit more of the heavy lift. And I don't mean before you get there, I mean behind the scenes as you're working with maybe a provider who isn't really cued in to the idea of a triad now versus just he and the dyad. He sort of adjusted you being in the room, but doesn't recognize he now has two people that he should be supporting and acknowledging and hearing from, both together and separately, because we need to figure out what's actually going on, not in front of the curtain, but behind the scenes. So that's my take on it. And I certainly have worked hard with people to make sure things go super well. And behind the scenes, it can be super chaotic and frustrating and really hard. But I also have at times let people simply do what they're going to do and see what happens, because sometimes we protect people when we really do need the truth as we know it to potentially come to the surface so we could get more of what is needed in times when we need that. Anyway, that's just my thought for today. Um, and it's built on really watching care partners really have some challenges and watch people living with not realize how much effort went into something. And so not really being able to appreciate it. That's not always the case, but when it is the case, it might be time to say, I think I need a little help. So if there's anything we can do to help you talk through, think through, process through, please let us know. We're here to provide a little support. We can't be everywhere all the time, but if there is something we can do, please let us know. Take care of yourself and take care with your care. Till next time.